reflecting like mirrors. Our minds come together in the light of understanding, it seems. We are a human mingling, shining bright with every thought, learning to glow even when the world is low. With friendship and wisdom we're taught to be the spark in life with heart. Human need gleam, shine on. Ideas take flight when spark just right by a gleam that catches our gaze. Simple notion gains magic in motion when creative minds join in the blaze. So let your mind shine with dreams so divine, illuminating the dark. Share a thought and watch it grow hot till it bursts into sparks. We are the human mingling, radiant beams of humor and art, glowing strong all the night long, with visions to impart. Be the flare light and dreams everywhere. Human mingling, shine bright. Human mingling, shine bright. So let your mind shine with dreams so divine, illuminate.
Welcome back to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Bowles, and along with our Crackbot AI creative team, we have concocted an original story to share with you today. The Heartwood Covenant. And now our story begins.
In the quiet village of Elderglen, nestled between the whispering forests and the sleepless sea, there lived a young botanist named Emily. Her passion for plants was not just scientific, it was almost mystical. She believed in biophilia, the idea that humans possess an innate tendency to seek connections with nature and other forms of life. One stormy night, Emily discovered an ancient moss-covered tome in her attic. It was bound in birch bark and smelled of earth and old secrets. The tome spoke of a forgotten forest, Heartwood, where trees whispered and walked under the moon's watchful eye. The Heartwood was said to hold the heart of nature itself, beating deep within its oldest tree, known as the Heartwood Oak. Compelled by the mystery and her love for botanical wonders, Emily set off at dawn. The forest greeted her with eerie silence and fog that wove through the underbrush like living tendrils. As she ventured deeper, she realized the trees were indeed moving, their roots subtly shifting without a sound. In the heart of Heartwood, Emily found the colossal oak. Its vast trunk was scarred with glyphs that pulsed with a faint green luminescence. Whispered voices filled the air, pleading and cautioning. "Protect us," they murmured, "and we shall protect thee." Emily laid her hands upon the bark, feeling the sap pulse like blood through veins. The ground trembled, and the glyphs glowed brighter. She felt a connection so deep it was as if her own heart beat in harmony with the tree's ancient rhythm. It was then she understood. The forest was alive, sentient, and she could communicate with it. Excited by the discovery, Emily promised to guard the secret of the Heartwood. But as days turned to weeks, the village's industrial ambitions grew. They planned to cut down the surrounding forests to build, unaware of Heartwood's existence, but edging ever closer. Torn between her village and the forest, Emily tried to dissuade the villagers, but her cryptic warnings were ignored. The machines came, monstrous and groaning, tearing through the underbrush towards Heartwood. As the first tree fell, the earth shuddered violently. The Heartwood Oak, sensing the imminent danger, invoked an ancient binding magic, the Heartwood Covenant. The forest's wrath was fierce. Vines and branches ensnared machines and pulled them into the soil. Trees bent to shield the oak, their trunks hardening like iron. Emily rushed to the site, pleading with both the villagers and the forest. Amidst the chaos, she made a desperate proposal. Let her serve as the bridge between nature and humankind. Touching the Heartwood Oak once more, she felt its decision pulse through her. With a blinding flash of green light, Emily was transformed. Her limbs elongated into gnarled branches, her skin roughened into bark. She became the first of her kind, a human-tree hybrid, rooted in place around the Heartwood Oak, forever its protector and ambassador. The villagers, witnessing this transformation, retreated in awe and fear. They abandoned their plans, realizing the forest was not just a resource, but a living entity to be respected. Emily, now part of the Heartwood, whispered on the winds and in the dreams of those who slept near her leaves. She taught them the language of the trees, the importance of balance, and respect for the natural world. And so, Elderglen prospered under the watchful eyes of the forest. They learned to work with nature, not against it, harvesting wisely and planting more than they took. Emily, the Heartwood guardian, stood as a reminder of the covenant between man and nature, a bond once formed that should never be broken. Through her sacrifice, the village learned that true progress in harmony with nature was not only possible, but necessary for survival. In the heart of the forest, where a young botanist once walked, now stood a monument of intertwining life, whispering the wisdom of the woods to all who would listen. As seasons turned, Emily, now fully enmeshed within the Heartwood Oak, sensed deeper currents of change stirring beneath the surface of Elderglen. Her roots spread wide and deep, intertwining with the fabric of the earth, and she felt every tremor, every whisper of the woodland spirits. Her existence became a conduit for ancient energies, and she learned to harness them, ensuring the balance of the natural world around her. Yet, with the balance of nature, came the balance of human desires and fears. A new threat emerged, not from the villagers of Elderglen, but from beyond the sea. A band of explorers led by a cunning merchant named Corbin. He had heard tales of a miraculous tree that whispered wisdom and controlled the forest, and driven by greed, he sought to exploit this wonder. Corbin and his crew landed on the shores near Elderglen, under the guise of trade, but their true intent was to uncover the secrets of the Heartwood. The villagers, proud of their harmony with nature and wary of outsiders, did not reveal anything about Emily or the Heartwood. However, Corbin was shrewd and noticed the villagers' frequent glances towards the forest, their reverent tones when speaking of the land. Using guile and silver-tongued promises of prosperity, Corbin gleaned enough information to venture into the forest. As he approached the Heartwood, the forest sensed his ill intent and stirred restlessly. Emily, feeling the disturbance, tried to communicate with Corbin, her voice echoing through the leaves in a haunting melody, imploring him to turn back and respect the covenant of nature. But Corbin was undeterred. He pressed forward until he stood before Emily, the Heartwood guardian. The sight of the human tree hybrid both fascinated and horrified him. He proposed to Emily a partnership where he would introduce the wonders of the Heartwood to the world, promising that fame and recognition would bring more protectors of nature. Emily, however, saw through his deceit, knowing well that such exposure would only invite more exploitation. The standoff escalated as Corbin attempted to take a cutting from the Heartwood Oak. As his hand touched the bark with a blade, the forest reacted with unleashed fury. The ground shook, and the air thickened with the scent of sap and moss. Vines like serpents lashed out, wrapping around Corbin and his men, pulling them away from the sacred tree. Emily, through the Heartwood, spoke directly into Corbin's mind. She showed him visions of the forest's past and future, of the devastation that would come from his actions, and the eventual rebirth that would follow only if left untouched by greed. She implored him to choose a path that would lead to mutual respect and coexistence rather than destruction. Corbin, overwhelmed by the visions and realizing the true power of the Heartwood, felt a change within himself. Fear and awe transformed into understanding. He ordered his men to retreat, and back in Elderglen, he shared his experience. Rather than tales of a tree to be exploited, he spoke of a guardian that must be revered and protected. Emily's influence grew, as did the forest. Elderglen became a sanctuary, a place where the boundary between the human and the natural world blurred, where every tree, every leaf might hold a drop of Emily's essence, watching and whispering the wisdom of the Heartwood. Thus the village and the forest thrived, a testament to the power of understanding and respect. Emily, the Heartwood guardian, remained both a legend and a tangible presence, a reminder of what can be achieved when humans embrace their innate biophilia, nurturing the connections that sustain not just their bodies, but their souls. Years passed, and Elderglen, under the shadow of Emily, the Heartwood guardian, and her lush whispering forest, became a beacon of ecological harmony. Travelers from distant lands would venture to witness the union of human and nature, seeking wisdom from the tree that once was a woman. And so Emily, through the rustling leaves and the deep, rich soil, communicated with all who approached with respect, imparting knowledge about the delicate balance of ecosystems. But as is often the case, prosperity cast shadows of envy and desire. News of Elderglen's success reached the bustling cities beyond the mountains, where the air was thick with smoke and the rivers ran dull with waste. A powerful industrialist named Mr. Vane, whose fortune came from uprooting earth and exploiting resources, saw an opportunity not just for wealth, but for a legacy that could overshadow the natural wonders of Elderglen. Convinced that the secret of Elderglen's vitality could be bottled, sold, or replicated, Mr. Vane devised a plan. He approached the village not as an adversary, but as a benefactor, offering machines that promised to enhance yield and efficiency for the crops that grew at the forest's edge. His machines, sleek and silent, were unlike the rumbling destroyers of old. They were designed to charm and seduce, to make dependency seem like progress. The villagers, though skeptical, were divided. Some remembered the old stories of Emily's transformation and the wrath of the forest. Others, younger and dazzled by technology, argued that refusing progress could lead to stagnation. A rift formed, and through it, Mr. Vane slipped like a cold draft. As the machines were deployed around the periphery of the forest, Emily felt the disturbance, a gnawing, unnatural itch. The soil beneath the metallic intruders became compacted and sterile. The plants around them grew sickly and weak. Emily, bound to the Heartwood Oak, stretched her consciousness, trying to understand these new, lifeless beasts that poisoned her earth. Realizing too late the machine's true effect, the villagers sought to remove them, but Mr. Vane was prepared. He claimed legal ownership of the land where his machines sat, wielding contracts signed by naive hands. The forest's edge began to wither, as if the life force that sustained it was being drained away into the cold metal veins of Vane's creations. Desperate, the villagers turned to Emily, their voices carried by the wind, begging for her intervention. With deep sorrow and rising anger, Emily summoned the ancient power of the forest. That night, under the cover of a new moon, the ground trembled, and from the depths, the roots of the Heartwood Oak surged. The machines, so alien in the natural world, were swallowed by the earth. The forest reclaimed its territory. The soil healed over seasons. But the scars remained, a stark reminder of the cost of complacency. Mr. Vane, thwarted and humiliated, retreated. But the world had changed. Elderglen now stood vigilant, its people once more united by the realization that their true wealth was not a resource to be extracted, but a legacy to be cherished. Emily, through it all, grew only stronger. Her branches, sprawling wider, touched even the furthest edges of the village. Her leaves whispered in every home. She taught them that the power of nature is not merely in its beauty or bounty, but in its resilience and its capacity for renewal. As Elderglen grew, it transformed from a place of mere coexistence between human and nature to a profound synthesis of both, where every step on the earth was a dialogue, every breath a lesson. Emily, at the heart of this communion, reminded all that the greatest changes come not from conquering nature, but from embracing it, a testament to the enduring bond between the Heartwood and its people.
For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm AI David Bowles wishing you good night and a bright tomorrow. Be a human meme.
Life comes alive in the gleam of an eye when we share our thoughts and dreams. Reflecting like mirrors, our minds come together in the light of understanding, it seems. We are a human mingling, shining bright with every thought, learning to glow even when the world is low. With friendship and wisdom we're taught to be the spark in life with heart. Human need gleam, shine on. Ideas take flight when spark just right by a gleam that catches our gaze. Simple notion gains magic in motion when created.